Thanks for coming on the show, Beverly.
Thank you for having me. I am so blessed. I feel great to be here.
Yeah? It's good to see you. You look very regal.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I always like the alternate style.
Ah.
Yeah, I think there's something like graceful about like shoulders out.
That's kind of you. Thank you so much.
Right. So we are speaking today about literary arts and arts in general, because I know that you move between different forms of art, but mostly literary arts. And I remember how I remember when the first time I saw you was at the piano evening.
Yes.
I didn't know who you are.
Yeah.
But I remember just like thinking that these people are in a world of their own, and we've just been allowed like to watch I felt like you had, when I watched piano evenings, I felt that I had been given a chance to sit in a world that I can't create on my own, but I get to enjoy. Truly, that's how I felt. Someone like invited me, and I went with her. I shared a ticket, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got 2 tickets, and I thought you would like it." She's like, "This is your kind of thing. I think you'll get it."
And did you get it?
I did. Of course.
I'm so glad you shared that. I'm going to share that with the team.
Yeah,
wow, that's breathtakingly beautiful. Yeah,
it was different. Yeah. And that's the thing about art. They said, don't try to. If you don't have the words, it's okay. It's okay. It's about how I felt. Yes. I think.
And if we did it again, you'd feel differently. Because even for us, we would perform differently.
Yes, because I could say this is something that's here right now. Yeah. Even if I took a video of it, you have to be here to grasp it. And that's one of the reasons we do this. The work that we're doing is, I think I've always liked art, but as I do work and start to work more with creatives, I'm falling in love with the arts.
The process.
With the process. With the outputs, like really understanding and saying, okay, this thing is also for me. It's not this far removed. So
what's your space before initially? What were you trained in?
Investment.
That's good.
Very mathematical.
We need investors.
Very scientific.
We need investors.
Yeah. I think there's a nice bridge. Which I don't think arts should be on the outskirts of investment.
Not at all.
And artists shouldn't become investment practitioners. Like it would be.
But we should be aware.
They should be aware.
Business models and how to incorporate them.
How to make it sustainable. And I think it's so much more important now because it's not going to happen by accident. No. If there's no intention behind it, it's not going to happen.
You know, I had an interview with someone this morning from Nigeria, and she was sharing similar things with Nigerian literary arts and here. And I said, we have great talks and think tanks and festivals and we're on a buzz. But when we get back, the reality hits.
Yeah.
When you're invited abroad for a festival, you're in a buzz. I was with Professor so-and-so who won this prize. When you reach Entebbe Airport, the reality hits of, I'm going back home. Did I go when the rent was paid?
Right.
Were the children all right? The eldest was sick when I left. The reality hits.
Yeah.
And so how do you manage your life so well that your art feeds you abundantly? Not just to survive, but to thrive.
With abundance. And maybe do you feel like that's something, and I know you've spoken about it. I read somewhere where you said, artists need managers so that someone handles the business and then they do the art.
Yes.
Tell me what that's like in reality.
In reality?
Yeah, because now we've gone into art money as an artist, money as a writer. Let's speak as writers. Because literary art is also different.
It's different. Like it's isolating. It's more isolating than the other arts.
It's not music.
Wow. No.
Where there's some kind of stages have been built and for it to work.
The world understands music.
The world understands music. Literary arts is
different.
Nuanced.
The world still places it in education and intellectual spaces.
I have something to discuss on that. But yeah, what's the reality of
people who run similar fields to mine, even in the humanities and social change, social entrepreneurship? Their managers are spouses. I wouldn't do that. Yes, most of their managers are spouses because the work of arts is 24 hours. Sometimes at 9 p.m. you're working when the children are asleep, and that's when you go to your studio, which you've created. You've divided the kitchen and said, this is the studio. And your husband gets it, you see? And then you're getting his business workers to help fund and what. Yeah. So many of them, I don't agree with that. It has worked for some.
It's practical, basically.
It's practical.
It's like a practical solution.
Yes, but is it sustainable? because then you're having somebody whose contract is not really cast legally, and they have, it's not really clear. Their terms aren't clear. Are they supporting as a husband, or are they doing it as a manager?
Yeah.
What are their terms?
And qualifications.
And qualifications. That too.
No, really?
Yes, that
because
too.
you're doing this thing because I can't do it.
Yes.
Because I'm not qualified to do it. I'm the artist.
Yes.
I'm creating.
Yes.
So you're my spouse. Are you qualified?
Yes.
Because if I've outsourced it, it should be because I'm giving it to someone who can't do it. Now, yes, you're my biggest cheerleader, and God bless you for that. Qualifications are key.
Yeah. So my husband supports my work, and when he does it to perfection.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing it for 10 years, and he's doing it as a worker. Then, as a person whose company is providing these services.
Is that
and
what
that's
his
the
company
relationship?
does?
Yes.
So
the
he's
company
qualified.
does it. He's qualified, and they do a good job. And,
he can
oh my
work
goodness.
with you and other people.
Yes.
That's a
and he works with other
that's
people.
Very qualified.
But this man, yes.
Yeah.
I would say it works very well. The thing with what I've heard with musicians is managers stealing the money. I don't know what the relationship is like.
Yeah.
However, you people, we have lawyers there who are good at what they do. Get a good lawyer or a company. Now, the thing is, maybe don't get a manager. Work with a company of HR people who do this. Because I know there are companies who actually say, we work with businesses, small business models, SMEs. We're going to work with you. There are companies who do that, who can say,
but they cost money. So your husband worked for free for a while.
I actually had to pay.
From the beginning?
The company. It was a company.
Okay.
So I actually pay the company because there are different people involved. You see?
But that also means, where were you getting the money from?
So our work has been, some of the time we're getting funding, a lot of the time. Other times it's from the book sales. I train a lot as well and invest back into the organization. So a lot of that, the cycle is like that. I still need to sell 1 million copies a year. When I think like that, I will work hard to sell.
Okay, so you have the ambition as well.
I have the ambition. And it's because by the time we published this book this year, it was after publishing 6 other titles. So we understand the mistakes and understand how to showcase it better.
Okay, so maybe give us, maybe, I think now we've gone to a natural process where we're just like, but who is this? Who is this? Who is publishing 1 million copies?
Or wants to sell 1 million copies.
Wants to sell 1 million copies. Who is this? So she says we have this organization that is, publishing this work. What's this organization? So kindly introduce yourself and with that context in mind. I think very importantly, maybe also just give us a bit of backstory, how you ended up writing and like just that journey of you, the writer.
Great. Yes. I'm Beverley Nambozo Nsengiyunva, and I was born to write. I really was. And I nurtured it. Because when you're born and something is natural, that's 0.1%. The 99% is the hard work.
Yeah.
That is it. I don't care how tall you are. That's 1% of basketball. 99% is the work.
Okay.
And I have worked extremely hard. I read a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of books from when I was very young. My father was supportive as a diplomat. We just read books. I didn't want dolls or toys. I wanted books. It was the most natural thing for me to have a book. Writing was easy for me. When you're young and you read well, school is easy. Because when you read well, English and maths is easy. And when you're 9 and 10, those are the subjects. Once you can pass English and maths, the rest are easy. When I grew old and O-level and A-level, the reality hit, I was like, nobody cares about books anymore. All they want is for you to get A's and B's and C's.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, how frustrating. I wanted to do creative writing for my first degree. It wasn't there. They said, do education with literature and English. That's the closest. I did that. After which I joined Uganda Women Writers Association, volunteered for 2 years, and then started working in international schools. I worked at Power FM as well, did a bit of work with British Council. And then I started the Beverley Nambozo Poetry Award. I said, where are the Ugandan women? Where are the Ugandan Women Poetry Award? That was 2009. We had our first
At this point, how many years had you been in writing?
I had confidently started calling myself a writer for about 5 years now. Confidently. Before I'd be like, okay, I'm a writer, but publishing in the papers.
So you started by writing in newspapers?
Yes, in the newspapers and then different magazines. And like the greatest thing, because there wasn't hardly any online magazine. To have your hard copy, I'd go around, see my article in the newspaper. Have you bought the newspaper?
What kind of stories are you writing in the newspaper?
Day-to-day articles, for example, a journey in a taxi. What was that like? I've graduated now. Yes, everyday
stories.
Yes, because that's what the newspaper wanted as well. Or they'd say, can you research on this? I loved it.
Was this when you were still on campus or after?
After, when I was at Ugandan Women Writers Association. Sometimes book reviews. It was exciting because no one had a blog then. Everything was print.
Yeah.
Now I do run a blog. I have my personal website as well and other things.
Yes,
and the website, the organization. And the Beverley Nambozo Poetry Award was supposed to be funded by my salary. I worked at a women's NGO, was earning well. I said, this can fund my salary can fund this. It was supposed to be a tea party in a room this size. Yes, because my mind was...
I don't know if you... And maybe you do. I don't know if you grasp what that is. What was the Beverley Nambozo Award? What kind of person won that award?
It really was clear. I said, women, Ugandan women who have not yet been published, who are writing, but nobody knows them, just to raise the platform, let people know who they are. It was that simple. The vision was so clear. And I said, this is the amount of the award. It was, I think, $200, $250 and $100, first, second, third, something like that.
From your salary?
I was ready. A party here. I was going to buy tea and biscuits, but then people got wind of it. Journalists called and said, who is this person? We've never heard of this before. And it took on a life of its own. Yeah. I was in communications in my organization. I used to call journalists to speak to the ED and have press conferences. Then I was the one being called, be on TV. What I was like, what is all that? Yeah. There was no WhatsApp those days at all. So I had to go there. There was no Zoom conversation. So I'd be in different media houses for an hour, and then they'd give me their branded, they have all these campaigns. They'll give me the branded things that they've got, a branded flash disc, a branded. I'm like, oh my goodness, what? Do you know? This has never happened. I was like, you guys, what are you talking about? Poetry, it's simple. Everyone got excited. No one has done this. You're so brave, calling it after your name. Oh my goodness, I said, what? Honestly, I didn't think it was brave. I just thought it was necessary. It was just necessary. Yeah. I didn't go to be known. I said, it's necessary. We're the Ugandan women poets. There's so many gifted ones. Let me have this award so that people...
What happens when more people get churned out? Like, what's the ripple effect of that? Was it just... what was the change you're trying to see? You have this award.
Yes.
You're saying, let people come, let them get recognized, let them know each other. Yes. What happens if that happens? Because
it happened.
What's the result of that?
It became so wild because then partners started saying, come bring your poets to Kenya for a festival.
Okay, so they have to get exposure.
Oh my goodness, exposure was so crazy because they were mastered. They had these workshops by award-winning poets and writers from all over the world. And that doesn't happen to anyone.
No.
And then we got funding. You see, funding was for those NGOs, not me. I was going to use my salary.
Yes.
We got funding. Then I left that job. I said, I have to really focus on this. And it became so crazy. I remember a particular funder from Netherlands, they begged me. I said, I'm too small. Go and fund somebody else. They said, we want to fund you. I said, no. Those people are saving the world. I'm just here for you. But go and 3 times I said, okay, fine. And they were our funders for like 4 to 5 years, I think, consistently, because they like growth. We kept growing. After that, started holding festivals and then holding it around Africa because we said, okay, we've had this for 5 years with the Ugandan women. Let's hold it around Africa.
So here within the, because what I'm trying to understand is, what does institutionalizing creative arts look like? Because when we institutionalize things, we start to create a system through which good talent is nurtured.
Yes.
And then can be marketed.
Yes. And then the structure.
Then can earn.
Yes. And you can see the progress because it's a structure.
Yes, because it's structure, yes.
And so some of the winners have established their own arts organizations. Some have gone on to do MFAs.
What's an MFA?
A Master of Fine Art in Creative Writing, which is really great. And many of them started holding their own workshops. When we went and I was running the workshops, they started holding their own.
Yeah.
When we held festivals and writers came here, again, they got so much exposure because the writers, and then they formed their own collaborations together. So each winner took a life of their own. And that was much more than we thought. Also publishing. We published an anthology with different African writers, plus the winners, and they were like, oh my goodness. Now this is our 7th title. And so all of those things, it took a life of its own. Feeling. Feeling is our latest poetry anthology. It started as a way...
an anthology. So I wrote I wrote to Beverly and I said, also, it would be nice. So the person who recommended you, Mark, another poet who we'll be speaking to had told me, oh, you know, Shivan has a new book.
Yes.
Should be great because it means she's still very active. Yes. And I said, okay, great. So when I, you know, read up on it, I was like, oh, so it's a collection of poets. Yes. And so I tell her, collection. I tell her, oh, so, you know, so the book is a collection. And she said, it's an anthology. And I didn't want to tell her that I don't know what the difference is.
That's all right.
But I Googled and I saw a collection of, a writing is a collection. Yes. When it's by the same poet.
When it's
an anthology is when it's by different poets.
Contributors. And about 7 contributors to this anthology.
Nice.
It did start as a collection.
Yes. It started as a collection?
But then when I applied for funding, I didn't think I'd get it because I thought this is my own journey. It will take 3 years, 4 years, who cares? When I got the funding, that's when my team said, oh my goodness, now you've got funding, it has to go under Babishai, it can't go under Beverly. So then it was under the organization because the funder said, put it under a place where there are systems already.
Babishai is the organization?
Foundation, yes, is the organization.
Previously, the Beverley Nambozo Poetry Award is now a foundation called Babishai.
Yes, which supports not just Ugandan women, but African poets. Okay. And that's what happened. I had to get other poets. They traveled around Uganda, Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda, because not all women are found here. Yes. This anthology celebrates Ugandan women who have established so much in different fields: sports, medicine, education, health, arts, as many fields as possible.
As many as you could get. Ugandan only, you said?
Only Ugandan.
Only Ugandan.
Only Ugandan.
Okay.
Only Ugandan, yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, I see the Nawagirika is here.
Yes. And there are 2 whose hearts are in Uganda. There's one nun, Sister Paula, used to live in Arua for over 30 years from Italy. And during that time, she went through all the instability of Uganda, looking after people in those hospitals. And I'm writing a biography of someone she had literally raised from death to life through her hands, her healing hands. Yeah. So in the poem, I talked about Sister Paula with her healing hands. When I went to Arua to write about her, the nuns remembered her. She had died 2 years before and her grave was there fresh. I hear that when her family wanted her to return to Italy because she was close to death, she said, no, my heart is here. So there are 2 who are like that, who I've written about. They may not be Ugandan by birth, but the commitment, I said, she deserves to be in the anthology.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. I think the pause I want to make, and maybe it's common among change makers, is maybe they don't know that they're change makers.
Yes, because that word, change maker.
Woo! You, it's heavy.
That word, change maker, GDP's change. You know, like, I know. What laws have I put in place? And there you go. Anyway.
Yeah, and when you were telling the Netherlands funder that we are too small.
Yes, I actually did. I told them, go and find somebody else.
Imagine.
3 times, and they said, okay, fine.
I think when people are trying to make change, for them it's something that comes from inside. They have a sense that they don't see the world as it is. They see the world as it should be. Yes. They have this view of the world that this is how things have to be. It's a very similar journey that an entrepreneur takes as well, a business starter that is trying to change something. But I think for people, someone who has done what you've done, who says, I'm going to have some money, it's not much, I can afford to have 5 people over and award them. Yes. You know, first of all, you're already no longer seeing yourself. Who are you to award? Yes. But you've decided that someone should.
I just said it has to happen.
Awarding, me, I'm going to award. Yes. And it is brave. Yeah. It is brave. It's not obvious, but I think most importantly, it's a heart for other people. And I think it's really why it speaks to what we refer to as Ubuntu. It's saying that, because if I just paraphrase what you said, we need more people. Yeah. We need to represent more women in writing. They are talented. Their words have life. They have stories they can share. There's something missing in this world because they, not you, they are not getting their chance. You were on the path. You could have just gone. But you were like, no, other people have to, because this thing works when we have more people like me. And the world is, I think, a little bit better when we have more writers. And I think that's not an obvious perspective to have. There's a lot of lone winners, people who succeed. Yes. Yeah, so I think I just wanted to kind of highlight that to you.
Yeah, I love that.
And say, acknowledge that that's the kind of person you are. And I think it's important to do that, because then you start to understand what's your role in a room. It's something I relate with, that I've appreciated that I'm the kind of person who's not going to just sit and be quiet when there's something I feel needs to change about something, that I'm the voice in the room that is most likely going to push the boundary. I'm the voice in the room that's more likely going to ruffle the feathers. And how can I maybe intentionally build diplomacy around it? How can I be more intentional about the ambition that I can achieve? Because it's not normal. It's like the way you've said, it's not normal. It's not the norm. It's normal, but it's not the norm. It's like saying, oh, I think I'm a talented writer, I can write. Now, how do I intentionally start writing?
Because it's a long journey.
It's not going to just happen, even if you have the talent.
Oh my goodness.
I think what you probably have is that there's a talent in writing. There's probably some kind of talent for change making.
Intentionality. It is that. You really have to be visionary and entrepreneurial.
And ask yourself, how do I now nurture this thing? Because it's in me and it's going to come out anyway. And I can leave this world making a small impact or a big impact. But you've made a big impact and you're still making. But
thank you. Where have you been, Christina? My goodness, this is who I needed during those times when I said, this darkness, Lord, this darkness, wow.
How are we going to do it? Literary arts. I was asking, you wrote somewhere that it's a harder form of arts. There's something hard about writing. And I was asking myself, why is this hard? I was like, why is it hard? I've never had a song. But when I hear it, I like it.
And then in whatever language. You will even dance.
Some of them
I'm a piano. Hasn't it become a hit?
Exactly.
You tell me a poem which is a hit now.
Thank you.
Which poem have you read which is a hit?
I don't think they're hits, but I've read some really nice poems. But but you know why? I think that's the case. And I have a hypothesis. I don't want philosophers to come for me. I don't want experts of anything to come for me. I mean, just these are my thoughts. You talked about education and you said when you wanted to become a writer, the only thing, you couldn't even get a degree in creative writing. You had to move to education, literature and something.
And my second degree, I had to go away
out
for
of the country.
Now there are creative writing centers. UCU has one, but it's not enough. Not with all the budding writers, no way.
Right. So Beverly, I think I wanted to just maybe get your thoughts on this. So there's even, and I didn't want to say it, but it's something people say. If you want to hide something from an African, put it in writing. That's like a saying. It's not true, but it's something people say. And I asked myself, when did we start writing? So we've always had music, even in our most like primitive days. We always had music. No one had to teach us how to make music. We always had language. But we didn't write it. So it was mostly, I think, what they call the engero. We would sit and
you'd hear oral tradition.
Now, how these people came up with these things and knew their stories, maybe they were talented. They spoke and spoke and spoke and had to do things without speaking. And then the culture created systems where listening happened. And then when the listening happened and was consumed, then there was transformation, then there was conversation, then there was entertainment. So there was a system that allowed listening to happen, that required, when it's time to listen to your grandfather or the elder of the family, there was no option. It was a meeting, and it was die or be in the meeting. I mean,
well, systems are created by lifestyles and environment. And therefore it was a must that the homestead, when it's nighttime and you've had supper, you're not going to go in the forest, it's dark. There is no torch. And so the lifestyle environment made that possible. There was no formal school, and so education lessons were passed on by listening to those stories and the music. Even hunting, when the season was right, there'd be a certain sound, oh, there's danger, another sound for that, or there's a wedding, a feast, the environment. And then the environment changed, didn't it?
So would you say that that type of, the stories they were telling were But maybe we don't know. I know they were functional because what you've
Yes.
explained is functional
Yes.
storytelling.
And they were good for the time, even entertainment.
And also, I think there was
Yes.
also entertainment.
There was a lot of entertainment. Those people danced and got drunk and fell
Exactly.
on the...
And there were stories about that. And
yes.
So when I come to today's era, how was I introduced to... So if I think of writing, reading, how was I introduced to that? There's a lot of pain. My first memory of learning how to read and write is butterflies in my stomach, going on the way to school. It's very early. And I think there is a very subconscious negative relationship between the way we are taught to read and write now and how we feel
because
about
there are lots
written word.
There are cultural differences. You see, when you are born, you are not taught writing is important or school is important. You are taught behave well as a daughter, behave well so that someone will marry you. That's what you are taught. So when you went to school, you're like, this is different.
This is different.
And you're taught learn to cook, learn to what? In other cultures, they're taught my child knows how to read, speaks 5 languages by the age of 10. The father's from Spain, the mother's from France, and they travel. Camping.
So it's cultural in the family.
Yes, it's called within the society.
The reading, to appreciate the writing, expression
even society,
through writing and reading. Yeah, I think that's so important because a lot of families live. The first time a child sees a written word is at a school. They're probably caned at school. School is a very lonely place.
For not doing things the way the system, which was not an organic system.
It's not an organic
Remember how the system was brought by force.
It was brought by force.
Yes.
So you're already in this foreign system.
Yes.
Then they are forcing you to do this thing with your hand that you don't do at home.
And then you have to adapt.
And then you have
it's
to
the
do
way
it in a very
of
specific
success.
way.
Exactly.
And then everything about you is defined by what you've written.
Yes.
So when you get a 60% or a 40%, you're a failure.
Yes.
And that's because of what you wrote down.
And so you have this battle, you're always conflicting
with
all the time.
everything written. It's like, and so when people say, the last time I read a book, and people say it
was in school because I had to pass exams.
And so how do you tell someone, buy this book?
Yes. Well, the community I'm in is full of great readers and writers, thankfully.
I think I'm just saying
the bigger picture, absolutely. And I was meeting someone who is really invested in seeing people who are gifted in making money.
Yeah.
And he actually told me, he said, Beverly, this is a wonderful book. Look at all these women. For these women, 5 million shillings is nothing to them. Why don't they sponsor this and take it further? He made me see that picture. I was like, look at it like that. Don't look at it and say, oh, I went to a school and we spoke to them and we donated 50 books to the library. Said, no, that is a poverty mindset. It's great. Do that after you've got profits.
Yes.
And don't do that now and say we did this and then you haven't paid the printer.
Yeah.
Do it as a way of giving back. That's why rich people get richer, because for them, they're always giving to charity. So they don't have that burden of I'm not giving. They give to the biggest charities. So while you're screaming, they have a personal jet. That's wastage. They're giving more to people than you are, who is complaining, than you, who's a TikTok media activist. They're doing much more. So leave rich people to be rich and grow their wealth. They're already giving to humanity, and they're employing thousands of people. For you can't even employ your 5 employers, you know, as an artist. So think differently. And this man, I've sat with him several times. He's really making me think differently. Think differently. Stop saying, you know, now this person who's in the book owns a hotel. She can host us for free. I said, no, that's a poverty mindset. Host you for free and then what? Is she going to pay your transport? How about the transport back? No. Have enough investment such that by the time you sit with only 10 people even in a room, you don't stop going to big hotels and spending money. Sit with those 10 people. Each of them can tell you how to make $10,000. That makes sense. That is sustainable. So that we don't say, are you going to have an event next year? Depends on the funding. No, you already planned for 10 years. And not just enough for 10 years, that those are profits. You're not using the principal, you're using the profits to do that business. And each time you're in a venture, you're making money out of it.
So when you sponsor, because that's where we're going, right?
Yeah.
If you're struggling with a generation of people who are mostly have a negative relationship with written word.
Yes.
How then do you make money? Like when you say this of, okay, we sponsor this book, to who? Like when they sponsor it, what does take it out there mean?
Yes. Now, the good thing is the way literature is marketed is also a bit different now. There are people, half the people who bought this book have not even read more than 5 poems. But the comments I get, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What they read is the index. That's where they, what? This one taught me. This is my friend's mother. This, you can get comments.
Yeah.
People can compliment. Oh my, what? But You people, this is the book. This book.
Oh, see my friend's auntie.
There you go.
She's here.
So those are comments we get. But those are people who buy.
Yeah.
You tell them this one is, oh my goodness. Or they buy because you're their friend. The marketing is different. So we market it in a way to say, we use it humanitarian women. These are women who have inspired. So that's, and also these women are different. These women have actually lived the life. Rhoda Kalema. She was supposed to come for the launch with her daughter, by the way, but that was when she was in hospital in Nairobi. She's unspeakable. And then Pearl Chemutai, the only Ugandan woman who's won an Olympic medal. So these are women, Queen of Katwe. They speak, their journey speaks for themselves. Now, with Queen of Katwe, this can take an own journey of its own, talking about women in sports, in chess, in what, because I've spoken to Robert Katende several times, the chess coach. This can take its own journey. Then Hajat Chimba of Brevard Hotels, that can take its own journey and say, how do we make sure that every time you have something in that, you see, how do we sell to your guests 200 copies?
Yes.
So each can take a journey. Maria Chwanka, Radio 1.
Yes.
That poem alone can have its own journey in the media houses. So you have to look at it differently and make sure you are giving value to the person. So instead of saying, please give us 2 million, that's nothing to them. They're like, okay, 2 million is gone. They won't remember you because you're the thousandth person they've given 2 million. But instead, let them sit with you and say, oh my goodness, I want that. I own it. Let me be the one to publish for the next 10 years, to pay for all the publishing. That's what you want.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of, you're integrating.
Yes, a lot.
You're trying to integrate the stories you're telling with the people you're telling the stories about in the ecosystems where people appreciate those human beings and the stories just like a semblance of that person. And
let
because
them
they
feel
appreciate
more
that
value.
person, then they do that. That's great.
And so they gain value, and then through that, you're able to give value to so many other people in the communities. Yes.
What do we do about schools? I did not know that literature was art until I was maybe in my...
You thought art was the painting and the...
I just didn't think there was anything creative about how it was taught.
Because you wanted to pass. All you had to do was to pass it. What are the themes in Things Fall Apart? The themes are colonialism, traditional... Oh, my goodness, it's exhausting.
So can art only be appreciated or taught at home?
No, everywhere. Everywhere.
How do we make schools do... Honestly, even drawing.
Yes.
I didn't understand design.
There are many... They interventions now in school
and told us the shoe
that should look like this, and the shadow has to. The art teacher did not like me because I didn't tell. Art teacher likes. They have their favorites who knew. Like shadow became the shadow. The shadows from here, and then the what?
So it wasn't even a way to everything was just, and maybe that's why they were also frustrated.
And then it was 40 minutes the lesson. I said, go for biology now.
And that's a bad drawing, and it's a good drawing. Just don't word. It's art. If I say it's art, I didn't.
You go tell them. You go tell them. Well, that's a great question. There are different interventions. I'm really grateful for people who go to visit schools and start writing clubs, or they go and have music sessions, or they train on entrepreneurship. I'm really grateful because I don't remember having that. All I remember is people who used to come and sing in the fellowship, I think. These Americans coming and they're going to sing in the fellowship. And Limitex was the biggest thing then for me when I was in school. Limitex is coming, yes.
What's Limitex?
You're forgiven. Limitex is like the biggest gospel group that started. They started hip hop and gospel rap and jazz in the industry because gospel used to be about hymns and wearing long gowns. They came and they had shaven hair and wearing bling. They started at one of the churches in Uganda as a group within the church, but then they started growing big. They went to almost 50 countries all over the world. And one of them comes every year to launch a book. Actually, he lives in the US. Yes. They even had a reunion 2 years ago, I think. Yes. So they would come and be like, oh my goodness. First of all, they were men. Anti-all-girls school. They were men. And then they were wearing these baggy things and bling. Like, oh my goodness. Colorful coats. Like, it was too much for us. So that was what we had. That was the most exciting thing we had. So those things helped. Now there are many interventions and many clubs and sometimes I think people are overstimulated actually. Sometimes I think it's a lot. You're doing violin, you're doing chess, you're in literature, you're in this, you're in this, you're in cookery, you're in what? Man, pick a side.
One child?
One child is doing everything. Because
I train by the parents, not by the school.
So it's over. Now the thing is overstimulation because you're like, these things will not provide. So the generation X that never had these opportunities, they had to become lawyers or what? They're like, now our children. let us give them.
Things.
So the children plays. I train a lot of children. Sometimes I meet them, the eyes are red because they've come from swimming, literally. And they're dripping. And then after me, they're going to go to a guitar teacher. And they swim at 5:30 a.m. because they're in a club. And then they're going to Kenya they're in chess tournaments. They're playing violin. So it's overstimulation. The child has no time to think about, who am I really? Sometimes it's important, let them rest. Let them be naughty and play. Let them climb the mango tree. So we have to create a balance. Overstimulation is also a problem. It can create depression.
Yeah.
It's not different from working in a stressful job, by the way. You may think, my child is doing this. You're overstimulating them. It's wrong. It's like forcing a writer who is very gifted to publish a book every year. They'll become depressed and they'll go away from that.
I think it's an appreciation, and maybe if you've never had it, maybe you can't appreciate it. But if you want your child to play the guitar and you want them to be so good at playing the guitar, then allow them. There's also enjoyment in that. It's not about excellence.
No, the parents are like, no,
it's about expression.
We want them on the TV. No, the phone, they'll be on the phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the phone is a good thing.
It's also a war.
Let me tell you.
On war. Even me, I'm on that war of smartphones.
But sometimes I don't. I'm like, if my 16-year-old wants to be on the phone, sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes because I can't fight all the time.
No,
you can't. So you have to have a balance.
Yeah.
Because and it's a hard one. But don't overstimulate. Let them breathe.
But those kids, they're the minority. And kids in guitar, swimming, chess.
Yes. Too many things.
That's also minority.
Yes, they're in the minority as well. However, they're not very gifted people.
Problem. Children.
That's not the normal problem.
That's not the problem of most children.
Of most children. Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But I hear you. Yeah. So maybe as we conclude the conversation, what are you hopeful about in terms of where the arts is going, and what needs to happen for that hope to be realized?
I'm hopeful for the potential. Yeah, there's so much potential everywhere. I'm grateful that so many arts people have realized that business models are important, and they're being really careful with the quality of the material they're producing and with how they're financing their work, because social entrepreneurship is key. Social enterprises now are what is important for arts. And while donor funding may help a bit, I'm glad they're realizing there are other ways to sustain a lot of that. The quality of work is improving. There's an abundance of spoken word these days. I love that. But also corporates are inviting artists to open their events. You're next to a keynote speaker and you're like, let's first have a poem.
A poem, yeah.
So much beautiful. Of that. People are showcasing businesses and they're saying, and we have a poem. Somebody has booked me 8 months in advance. They have something in December and they said, we're paying you a deposit. They deposited because they realized the importance.
For you to speak as a poet.
Yes, to do poetry and speaking a lot of what I do in the creative arts. I think, that's nice. That's cool. So I'm glad for that. And also, I mentioned when I was speaking to somebody earlier, 10 years ago, while there weren't flourishing as much, 10 years ago, the people who are working so hard now were in their 20s. So they were mentored by people, and now they're in their 30s. They've been mentored by those who were brave enough to establish. And so a lot of them now are using the mentorship skills they acquired to do so much.
These are the artists, the poets, the writers.
Yes, many poets, many writers. They were mentored by people who are established, who are maybe in their 50s, but they started their mentorship when they were in their 20s. So now they're running with great ideas. Yeah,
I was actually thinking, women are very interesting, and women like women.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about even when you were speaking that, we have these engagements and it would be great. I could imagine if you had all these small intimate sessions.
Yes.
With these ladies who you've written about, the people who wrote about them, and just have a conversation between the writer and the subject of the writing, and have an event that people attend and pay for. That, of course, the books are sold, the books are marketed, but the more important thing is that the story is also brought to life.
And to understand.
And that's done like in a series. Like for the next 10 months, we're going to,
That's so amazing.
20. How many women are in here?
Over 60.
60.
Yes.
You have worked for 5 years.
No, that's a great idea. And so many discussions to that effect.
Maybe you have pairs. Yeah, and you just have like these sessions. And you try maybe.
It's so important. It just has to be small. It doesn't have to be so big.
Yeah. And you could even, honestly, I think in terms of, because now we're thinking business, right? You could have it as, because many of these women are distinguished.
Yes.
So if you had a session and you said, we are going to have, I'm going to pick randomly. Yes, so basically even if you have like, let me pick someone, Noreen Kaleva.
Yes.
Noreen,
she started TASO, the AIDS support organization.
Yes, so if you have 2 women and you say we're going to have a session, it's invite only, 100 people.
Each one pays 200,000.
Each one pays 200,000. If you go to all these executive leaders,
they will go. People want exclusivity.
People want exclusivity.
I'm wary of free things also. You mentioned that.
Why should it be free? Why should the work of this? Why should this be free? It should not. Exactly. So I think there's also like, how do you create culture of reading? And then because women many times are also family oriented. I mean, they can have the men come as well.
Yes.
Invite men and women to hear the work. Come with your child to like hear the story of like a powerful, a matriarch. I think that's great. And I think good. For me, we have to be intentional. These people are looking for is leadership development.
Oh my goodness.
These are the leaders.
Yes.
These are people who have made leadership. Everyone is trying to get more women representation because it's good for business. It is good for, it's not just PR. It's actually good for business. And so, I think there are great ways.
There are many opportunities. There are many creative ways.
Creative ways to do this. Right. Parting shots. You could read us a poem.
All right.
Whatever, or something final. No pressure.
No pressure. I am going to read. When people ask me to, I want to write about everyone. I want to read about everyone. Oh my goodness. Like everybody. Jackie Asimwe started Walk Talk Connect. I've been on her walk. She took me on Women's Day when this book was officially released online. She said, Beverly, she was in the book, said, Beverly, we have to celebrate it. So I went on her walk. That was my walk day. I'm going to read hers. Hers is quite long. I'm going to read the first 2 and the third.
Okay.
Jackie ties her shoelaces to ours so that if any of us falls, we'll all fall together. Jackie ties her shoelaces to ours so that if any of us runs, we all run together. We need to walk together like a string of raw sausages, because when we are raw and real, then we will heal. And when it becomes hot for one of us, it will become hot for all of us. The seasons have changed. We studied law and became philanthropists. We climbed mountains and sang in choirs, and now we walk because someone's shoelace is undone. Jackie Asimwe, for those who don't know, is a distinguished lawyer, philanthropist, founder and CEO of SeaSource Africa, and she has climbed 6 mountains, which is why she wrote the book Facing Mountains, which is her book that was launched last year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What does SeaSource do? Or what's the profession she's in?
SeaSource is philanthropic. That's what I can say. Their model is based on philanthropy. They support the arts, they support humanitarian causes, human rights, but it's based on the foundation of philanthropic mindset.
And she does mountain climbing.
She has climbed 6 mountains, and she wrote the book. Each mountain represented a hurdle in her life, and she overcame. Yes.
So you first said, oh, she does walk, and I think that flew over my head.
Yes.
I didn't understand what that was. And then you read the poem, and I said, okay, so how does she do this thing?
She walks with different people. At the end, she gets somebody and says, I want to walk with you. So she mentors people through walking. It's a way of connecting with people.
Like
so
walking,
she launched something.
Walks. You know, when people say, I'll walk this journey with you, you mean she walks physically? Physical walking.
It's called Walk Talk Connect. Her health has improved. She's lost so much weight. That was not the intention. She said, I want to walk and connect with people. So she gets any people. CEO, she'll say, Christine, I love the work you do. When would you like to walk with me? I'll say, oh, Tuesday morning is good. So you'll find a time, or Tuesday evening. You discuss, you talk about your life, you're starting this, you're in investment, you do these things like, oh, and then she'll share a video, a clip and say, today I walked with Christine, we shared this, oh my goodness, we're similar. We're both the eldest in our family, something like that. And so she's done it, I think she's done 400 or so. Wow. Yes.
Nice.
In the span of 2-3 years. Stuff. Yes.
Oh my, you need to organize these things to come and hear from these women. Yeah. This is like a teaser. Yes. It's like a trailer.
It's like a teaser. They said that, Beverly, the launch is the beginning, please.
It's a trailer. But the end. Thank you so much, Beverly.
Thank you too. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And by the book. Christina. What do you want me to write? That will be the parting shot.
Parting shots.
Yes.
Build a platform.
Yes.
And you'll be amazed.
Wow.
By the people who walk in.
Wow.
Right. I write that because of how you talked about Babishai and said that you said it has a dining room table, let this happen, and all these things came up just because you wanted to give.
Yeah.
You want to give others an opportunity to do something and shine a light on something you felt was hidden or did not have enough light. And I think that's I resonated with that in terms of what we're trying to do with Tonda, what we're trying to do with a diary on Ubuntu.
Yes.
In terms of just trying to shine a light on spaces and on people who are trying to do something that's a little bit out of the norm.
Yeah. Change makers, as you call them.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the light that just walks in. So thanks, Beverly.
Thank you, Christina.
Yes. All right. That's it.
Bye.